All right, what's up, y'all? It's Wooly here. So I do want to have a conversation about the state of DCUO. Now, really quickly, I do want to preface and give a little context and say this is not a DC bash video. This is not to bash the devs or anything like that. This is not a hate video of any kind. This is just um, an open discussion, I guess you would call it. This is my opinion if nothing else, right? Like, I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just giving my opinion on the way the game feels right now. And I think a lot of people would probably agree with the sentiment of how it feels because it does feel like it's on its last leg. It's felt like that for a while now. And I know, as somebody who has played this game since 2012, uh, one of the things that you would constantly hear is that the game is dying. Now, I'm not saying that the game is dying, and I still upload videos that I actively try to get people into the game. I just did a should you play in 2024, right? So I wanted to make sure that I did something like that before I did something like this because I wanted to be clear. I'm not saying the game is dead. I'm just saying that at points it really does feel like that. Now, the point of this video is to discuss why it feels like that because there is an overarching narrative. Whether or not people agree with me, that's fine. That's why there's a comment section. That's why I would like to hear what you guys have to say. But as somebody who has played this game for the better part of 10 years, I do have some opinions on why I believe it feels the way that it does right now. Okay. And again, I'm not trying to point blame at anybody. When I feel like that blame is deserved, I will specify why I feel that way. So, the biggest thing that I've wanted to discuss because it doesn't make any sense to me, and I know Obsidian has talked about this before. So let's say there's been no new powers for a very long time, right? Um, now I'm gonna keep it simple because here's the thing. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't make sense to me that we haven't had any new players. Forget the fact that sure they're short staffed and there's a skeleton crew, whatever. That's not my problem. What I'm saying is the contradictory answers that we get don't make sense. So, on the one hand, this is something people have been asking for nonstop: new powers, new powers, new powers. And when we finally get a response from the development team, they say, oh, well, long story short, it's a lot of work and we don't feel like there's a lot of interest. That's what they say. But then at the same time, they say it's the number one question you get. So it can't be both. How can it be the number one question that you receive, but also there's not enough interest? Personally, I think there's too much time being spent on these time capsules. I think there's too much time being spent on these now $100 packs, $200 packs, stuff like that. I think you're dedicating the development time to stuff that doesn't matter. Of course, that stuff is meant to bring in money, fine, but you're not giving the people what they want. You're not giving the players what they want because, yeah, you can throw these packs up and these styles up and time capsules up all day long, but somebody like me who has dropped, $20,000 on this game almost in the last, since I've been playing, um, I've hardly ever bought time capsules. I can give a shit about time capsules. I don't care. That means nothing to me. Half the feats that come out of them, I buy them out of the broker. I don't care. I don't care about these time capsules. I want to play the game because for all of DC's faults, it's the combat system that really shines. There's not another MMO out there. I've tried to play Final Fantasy 14. Boring. I've tried to play WoW. Boring. I've tried to play Neverwinter. That was okay. I mean, it's the combat that really makes DC shine, right? So I don't give a shit about time capsules or what's behind them. The only thing I care about what's behind them is the feats, because that's what y'all walk behind them, right? But I will go and just buy those out of the broker because I can make money in this game all day long, not a problem. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to say that there's not enough interest when clearly the interest is there from the community. To me, it's just you're taking the piss, right? Like, that is what the community wants, but you're just not giving it to them because you're dedicating that time and resources to a bunch of other crap, right? Because again, people like me who have played this game for years and years, and the players that actually spend money on this game, a lot of money on this game, we would gladly switch to that power. So you can't say there's no interest in it. There is a lot of interest in it. Clearly, it's the number one asked question. So obviously there is an interest. So when you say there's no interest, it just boggles my mind. I don't understand it. Where are you getting this notion from? Because you can go back to my YouTube channel. Hell, you can go back to anybody's YouTube channel who's a serious player in this game, and see how many times we have changed powers over the last year. I'm sure the data is there. You know what I mean? Like, we would gladly switch to that power just to try it out. Especially now that you have the wolf tokens and we can actually take artifacts over there. That might be something a lot of people would do. I might even do that if the power is fun. That's what it ultimately boils down to. See, with the thing with water, because their main statement was, oh, a lot of people didn't take the water. People still play water. I've played water several times. The only problem is water came out before artifacts were as heavy as they are, because the thing that artifacts did to the game is it completely changed it. So you can really tell that powers like Celestial and water were not built for artifacts. You know what I mean? Sure, they work fine and you can get by fine with them, but at least in the support role. But the reason nobody's playing water, hardly like 1 out of 10 people is playing water. And the reason why is because the DPS side sucks. I mean, it wasn't built for artifacts. That's it, right? And the reason we have artifacts is because of you. Is because of the development team. That was a decision that came from management at the top. And so you ruined the power by implementing this pay-to-win system. And of course, we don't have to pay to get our artifacts. I've made plenty of videos on how to get those free, but I'm just saying, like, you're the cause of your problem. You're the cause of why people don't do it in the first place. And this is going to be a sentiment that holds true throughout this video here, throughout this discussion, is that I believe that Daybreak is the cause of discourse and the cause of everything in this game, right? So let's circle off of that, because I believe the lack of no new powers is strictly on them. Okay, and I've given my reason on that. So the second thing I'll talk about is PvP, right? PvP is something that has been asked repeatedly to be fixed over and over and over, and they just refuse to do it. And they've said, we have no interest in doing it. Now, this is just a big negative to me because, back in the day, there was a strong emphasis on PvP. Anybody who's played this game for a long time, you remember when we had Friday Night Legends, where they would have PvP tournaments hosted by the devs, by the PR team, MEPs, where they would have tournaments, PvP. They would go in and do Friday Night Legends, where they would highlight specific leagues and stuff like that. And usually these leagues were PvP focused. They had a council, a player council back in the day. And I believe, some of the replacements guys like Super Patriot, were on that council, the player council, and they would give feedback to them, and they would actually listen to the community. So this was back in the day when you had guys like Super Patriot, Nimbus Yosh, Orbit, Smile Before Death, the guys that drove content for DC back when YouTube was still, finding its footing, and Let's Play and gaming, for YouTube was still relatively new. And these are the guys that were doing it way back then, that were the big names, um, in DC. And that's where a lot of the content and views would come from. Um, and then, like for the first several years, PvP was pretty fun in this game. Like, even though I was never really a big PvP kind of guy, there were times where, hey, we wanted to take a break from PvE, and we would all get together and we would go and just like raid the villain base or the hero base, depending on what character we were on. We would raid the safe houses out front, and it was just a good time. We would drag and lure the opposition over to the front of the building so they can get slingshotted by the NPC guards, across the map. That was fun. We had Fight Club on top of Star Labs back in the day. You can go to YouTube right now, look up DCUO's Fight Club and find those videos. It was a fun time, is all I'm saying. And the reason that I bring this up is because they just refuse to fix it. I mean, if you tried to PvP recently, it's just rampant with speed hackers. It's not worth playing. It's completely broken. All you have to be is a controller, stun, invis. Like, it's just, nobody's gonna play it. Nobody who really cares anyway is gonna play it, because there's better things to do with your time. There's no point in doing PvP at this point. Like, I would still go back in PvP if I could. I tried to do it last year, to just grind out and finish out the gear, and it was just speed hacker after speed hacker after speed hacker. I gave up after like 2 hours. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need it that bad. And I sure ain't playing Legends. Legends has been god awful since it's been introduced. But the reason I'm talking about this and I'm saying this is that they refuse to fix it. And they're saying there's not enough interest. Well, there's not enough interest because you refuse to fix it. Because for years it's been broken, it's been busted. People have been asking for it to be fixed, and the devs just completely, flat out refuse to fix it. That's why there's no interest. So there's no interest in a new power because you won't do it. There's no interest in PvP because you won't fix it. So this is why I say you are the reason that there's no interest. So when, we talk about that investor call that they had not too long ago, it's clear that DCUO is by far a large margin, at least 50% of the earnings of all of your IPs combined. And you're going to say the player base is volatile. Well, that's understandable. But the reason that the player base is volatile is because you are making them volatile. You are hitting us with these heavy monetization packs. Whether or not we need them is irrelevant. You're refusing to fix PvP, which is something that people are asking for. You're refusing to introduce any new powers, which is B, something people are asking for. You're refusing to innovate on any level and address any of the concerns of the community and give them anything that they're asking for. And instead, you're supplementing that with time captures, booster bundles, these, terrible seasonal events nobody asked for. Yeah, the seasonal events have always been there, but let's be honest, they're dog shit. Nobody plays them. Nobody cares. Like, we play them for, a week or two and get like the newest feats, and that's it. It's not fun. It's never been fun. The only reason we do them is because there are some nice styles in there and some decent base items. But this isn't 2014. Nobody's really taking to decorating their base like that anymore. Further to that point, we haven't seen anything done with bases, anything done with league halls in years. Years. When they first came out, it was a huge thing. We had DLCs completely built around them. We can go back to the last laugh. We can go back to home turf. We can go back to halls of power. There was a big emphasis on your base and your league halls back then. Nothing's been done with it since. Absolutely nothing. It's just been completely forgotten, right? So you introduce these things for the community, but you refuse to upkeep them in favor of making time capsules, in favor of making booster bundles, in favor of making these $100, $200 packs, $100 tokens. Shit that doesn't matter, right? Like, that is not going to keep your game alive in the long run. Because people like me, we can be considered the whales of this game. We spend a lot of money on this game. I make God sure on how to get stuff free, but I drop a lot of money on this game. But I haven't dropped nothing. I don't feel like dropping nothing. I don't even feel like playing half the time because, listen, there's nothing to do. There's no reason for me to play. There's no incentive. I still get on. I play every day, but what's the point? You know what I mean? I didn't even go out of my way to try to grind to 430 this episode. I really took it slow. Half the time I was selling off all the catalysts for the back piece and the augments because when the episode first came out, yeah, you can make a killing on that stuff. I was selling everything for like 4 mil a pop. I made a lot of money in this game during the first couple of weeks. So I really took my time, is what I'm saying, to max out my back piece, which I do have it done. I've had it done for a long time, but I didn't go out of my way. I didn't intentionally try to replay and spam the raid. I didn't buy a ton of replay badges. I bought some, but I did not go out of my way to get everything done because I was in no rush. I just, it wasn't a priority for me. Like the first couple of days, yeah, we went for it. We got the renown. That's it. But I didn't try to get the gear. I wasn't worried about it. You know what I mean? But the reason that I say this is because there wasn't much else to do. That's why I wasn't in a rush to do it, because what was I going to do when I was done with that? We don't have any kind of buffer between episodes. PvP would be the perfect thing because let's face it, these seasonal events, that's not it. That's not fun. That's not something we want to do. And even if you do it, it takes you like all of 10 minutes to get all of it done. So it doesn't really offer a huge incentive. It doesn't offer a lot to do between episodes. So the reason that I'm talking about this stuff is because there's a lack of player retention. Okay, you're not working on bringing in new players. You're not working on keeping new players because let's be honest. If you're a new player and you log in and the first thing you're hit with is that welcome screen, and it's just telling you like, hey, buy this $100 pack, this $200 pack, yeah, you're probably gonna quit playing pretty quickly because you don't know any better. For us who have been playing a long time, that's the standard, that's the norm. The welcome screen with the marketplace has always been there, but this was long before loot boxes were a thing, right? This was way before, EA started getting investigated by the legal system. Way before, Bethesda was hated. This is way before all of that, right? Since we've been dealing with the loot boxes and all of that long since before it was a thing, but now it is a thing, and players are more educated and keen on not dealing with that kind of stuff. So when they log in for the first time and they see that, do you think they're likely to stick around? Probably not. If I was a new player and I logged into DC and I seen that, yeah, I'd probably just go ahead and uninstall the game. We deal with it because we're used to it. We've been jaded by it. We are accustomed to it, right? So it's not a good look to bring in and retain new players. On top of that, there's absolutely zero marketing for this game. The only time I've ever seen this game marketing was when it first came out, and I seen a video for it, for like the trailer, and that was back in like early 2012, and that's how I ended up getting into the game. Other than that, I never saw anything except until the House of Legends was being announced, and when that was coming out, then I saw a trailer for it, and that was pretty cool, right? So we're not getting any new push for new players. We're not getting any trailers. There's nothing to try to entice people to come in, right? But on top of that, there's nothing to entice the already existing player base to stay. And so that player base has been dwindling. Because, like I said, this is not a hate video. This is not a bash video. I'm simply speaking facts. I'm simply giving my opinion on what I believe the failures are at the management level, at the Daybreak development level, which is causing this friction in the DC community, because people are getting fed up, they're getting bored, they've got nothing to do, and there's a reason that you are seeing people sell off their accounts. Like, if you are a serious player, sure, I run Omnia stuff, but at the heart, a lot of the stuff that I don't upload, I run a lot of Elite. I run a lot of the harder content. I know a lot of the top players in this game. I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of them. I've got a long and strong Rolodex in this game of dependable players I can call on at any time that would run Elite. And they're selling off their accounts. I'm talking about stacked accounts that have well over a dozen 200 artifacts, 700, 800 skill points, maxed out. And they're selling their whole accounts because they're just not playing anymore. They don't want to play anymore. And I can't really blame them the way that they're being treated, right? And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not trying to hate, but I want to kind of hammer home what is causing these issues in the game and the way that the game feels right now. Because, we'll be honest, it does feel kind of dead at times. That's not saying that it is dead. I know there's a lot of people out there who are playing, but it does feel at times like it's on its last leg. It does feel like it's dying a little bit. And that's not something I want to see, because I still very much enjoy the game. But even, somebody as diehard as me who loves this game will get on for like 30 minutes and I don't even want to play anymore because I can't get into anything. And I just don't want to deal with just sitting here, because I could be spending that time doing something else, right? And so I'm bringing this up to lay it at the feet of Daybreak and EG7. When you say you're not going to invest in the game because the community is volatile, meaning that they aren't dependable because the population is up and down, you are the reason that population is up and down. You refuse to listen to the community when it comes to PvP. You refuse to listen to the community when it comes to new powers. You refuse to listen to the community when they say these outrageous prices on these crazy packs are not something that they want. And you refuse to fix any of the ongoing, long-running issues. And then you give us like this shocked Pikachu face when they say, well, you know what, we're done, and they quit. And you say, oh, well, you're volatile. Fix your fucking game, okay? I'm just gonna say it, like, excuse me, right? Just feeling a little fed up because we're treated like our opinions don't matter, but we're the ones that support the game. And then they have the nerve to say the player base is volatile. You're the reason the player base is volatile, okay? And that's really all I gotta say about that, guys. And I'm sorry, I don't usually cuss on my videos, but I think we kind of need to hammer the point home. So the whole point of this video was to specifically say that, yeah, the player base is a little bit volatile and it's falling off and people are quitting, but that's because they have been asking for these changes for years, and y'all are just saying, nah, we're good, we're not going to do it, we have no interest in doing it. And then you wonder why the game is failing. You wonder why your biggest supporters are leaving. You wonder why your player base is volatile, because you're not enticing them to stay. You're not treating them properly. You're not trying to retain them. And without player retention, this game will eventually die. I don't want to see it die, but it is what it is at this point. I'm still going to play, but I'm not playing nearly as much as I used to. there's just not enough to do at this point. There's nothing to do at this point. Even right now, it's even hard to find a spam group for the current double mark, which is the luge at the time of this recording. So these are the biggest reasons that I feel like we have such a discrepancy in DC and the way that it feels that it is. And like I said, I promise this is not a hate video. It may sound like I'm venting, and maybe to a degree I am, and that's not my intention, but I do want to kind of highlight, like I said, what I feel are the main reasons, and that's my opinion. That's strictly mine. You may feel differently, but as somebody who plays this game every day, who has played this game for years, and at least since, off and on from 2012, at least since 2018, I have been consistent almost every day on this game. There's been very few times where I took a break. I think the only time I really took a break was when Elden Ring came out, and that was for like 6 weeks. But other than that, I have been very heavy into DC. It's pretty much the only thing I do play for the most part. Like 90% of my game time goes into DC. And so I'm a DC lifer, but we are at that point where it does kind of feel like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're still going to see me on. I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm not saying the game is dying. But if it continues down this route, it will die. That's just the way it is. They're not willing to address the issues. They're not willing to fix the problems. I mean, any good relationship is built upon communication, and it's built upon working together. And they're not working with us. They're working against us at every turn, at every facet of this game. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about that. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but please let me know in the comments down below how you feel about the state of DC, because this is how it feels to me, and this is how I'm perceiving it. Okay, and that's it. That's just how I perceive it at this time, and that's just, it doesn't feel any other way than that. I don't know how else to say it. But that's all I got for you today, guys. So if you stuck around and you listen to me bitch and complain, well, I appreciate it. If you got anything to add, drop in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, well, it's a hell of a video to welcome you. And like I said, I do want you to come into the game if you're new, because there are some things I believe that you could still have fun with. This is aimed specifically at the long-time player base, the veterans who have, maxed out. We've got tons of skill points. We've got multiple artifacts at 200. If you're new to the game, you've got at least a couple of years of stuff to do. But for those of us who have been here for a very long time, there needs to be something to retain those players, right? You've got a backlog of stuff that you can do as a new player, so you've got nothing to worry about. It'll be a long time before you get to that point. But for those of us who have been here since the beginning, there needs to be something to retain us. And that's the point I'm trying to hammer home. So let me know how you guys feel. As always, I appreciate if you stuck around. We'll try to pick back up on a more lighthearted note in the next video, whatever that's going to be. I don't have anything planned, but I'm sure we'll come up with something soon. So I'll catch you next time. Fully out. Stay frosty. Peace.